All right, so that makes me go live straight away. This is my very first time live streaming with YouTube. I won't spend too much time fiddling around though, because I want to get right into it. Let's give this a name. How about Quasar? Well, what I'm going to do is create this content form that people can fill out and let me know about what content they've created. And the idea is, once they've filled in one of these forms, it will then send the results directly to a Trello board, so I can decide how I'm going to let people know about that quasar related stuff. That's the idea. So maybe I'll call this quasar creating quasar content form. And how about I put in parentheses Laravel and Sanctum? Because we're actually going to be using Laravel and Sanctum in the background for this. Um, cool. So I'm doing this on the left side of the screen, meaning that it's going to be boring to you guys. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I can fix all of that stuff up later. So let's just leave it as is for now and go ahead and get started. Yeah, so as I was saying, the idea is we're going to have this, it's going to be a very simple app that's got a page like this where you can put in, you can click on the type of form that you're going to fill in, the type of content that you've discovered or created that you want to share with the rest of the Quasar community. And then you fill in the form, and then that is going to then store it in the database. This is going to be a Laravel app, and also send the results to a Trello card so that then I can triage it and decide what I'm going to do with that information, and get in contact with the person that sent it, or just, send out something on Twitter, let people know, or, if somebody comes up with a cool video idea, in the other section, maybe I could go ahead and create that video, stuff like that. I thought that would be really cool, and we can build something very simple. I probably won't get it done in this video, but let's go ahead and get started. It's my first time streaming, so let's see how it all works out. We'll start by creating a directory. So make directory, and man, on the left screen, I can actually see what's happening, and it's like delayed by about 10 seconds, which is kind of annoying. So I'm gonna have to get used to that. And we'll call this quasar content forms, something like that. That's a good start. All right, so let's go into there. Whoops, cd quasar content forms. There we go. And I might just open that in code to get started. Okay, here we are. Now let's make an app with Quasar by saying quasar create, and we'll just call this app. So we're going to have an app directory and then an API directory. The API is going to be super simple. And then we'll answer some questions while that's going. I'll even say Laravel new. Oh, here we go. Cut back up here. So we'll call this quasar content forms. I think that's a decent enough name. Quasar forms, so I can learn about what's, that's probably a bit long. Forms that let something about telling the community about forms for telling the community about new content. That'll do. Don't want to spend too much time on this. Oh, that was meant to be the product name. Ugh, all right, let's cancel that and run that again. So we can say here quasar content forms, quasar content forms. I'll probably change all this stuff in the future. Paste what I had before there. Yep, that's my email. SAS, auto import. Oh, I've made another mistake because I actually want to do this with the new version of Quasar. I'm pretty sure I know how to do that from memory. And then we can just say dash dash branch, and that's equal to next. Right, let's have one last crack at this. All right, so Quasar content forms, and paste in that description. Yeah, I could tell that it wasn't the new Quasar because you can't use stylus in the new Quasar. Or you can, but you don't get stylus variables out of the box. So let's leave that as is. ESLint, I don't think I'm going to need any of these other tools, except maybe Axios. And let's use standard. So prettier seems to be the default choice now, which is interesting, but I'm used to using standard, so we'll use that in this video. And always use yarn for your local packages and npm for your global packages. So I'm going to choose yarn, and then we'll say Laravel new, Laravel new, and we'll call this API. I don't think it asks us any questions, so that should go ahead and get going. When that's done with Laravel, I'm then going to need Sanctum. So let's say Laravel Sanctum, and open up the docs for that. And we want to open the API version of the docs, but first let's get it installed. All right, so they're both still going. All right, so now we can jump into app and say quasar.dev to open up a dev server. Let's install Sanctum. Oh, whoops, got to jump into the right directory. How do I cancel this now? It's actually not letting me cancel. Oh, that seemed to work. cd API, and now let's paste that in again. All right, now it's automatically opened up the dev server. I actually hate it when they do that. So I'm going to open quasar.conf, look for the word dev server. Here it is here. And I want to set open to false because that annoys the crap out of me. All right, let's save that. Cool. And this is our app. We're going to remove absolutely everything. And I'm just going to start off by having like a list in the center. And that list is then going to have all these different options for the different forms that you can go to. So now let's go to index.view. And I might even change the name of this from index.view to something else. How about forms.view? Available forms.view. Oh, maybe index is a good name. Or choose forms. No, let's leave it as index. I'm going to go to the main layout. And we're going to get rid of just about everything. So we don't need a header for this app. For the draw, we're modeling left draw. Oh no, we don't even need that. So let's get rid of that draw. Okay, so all we're doing is spitting out the content there. Essential links we don't need any of this. These are all the default links that you get out of the box. And here we go, we're using the composition API, so that's cool. I'll get the chance to play around with that. Haven't actually had much of a chance to use it in the real world yet. We don't need any of that, so basically it's just a super simple app. A very basic starting point. Now we should have a blank screen. Yep. Any errors in the console? No, there are not. So now let's come in here and add our list. Q-list, and we're going to be spitting out our form. Or buttons for each of the different types of forms. And that's probably going to be an object because we also want links to all of them. So let's say setup here. We'd usually accept props here, but I don't think I'm going to need any. Now we're going to say ref, or const ref, is equal to an array, and this array is going to contain all of those list items. So let's give the first one a label of, how about blog post? Yeah, I had like pretty descriptive terms here, but let's keep it super simple and say like, what content do you want to post about? Or pick a content type maybe. Yeah, let's go with that. Pick a content type. So we can say here class is equal to text dash h2. Let's use a h2 there. Maybe I can change that to the h2 tag as well. Content type. Oh, probably have to come down here and actually return something. We're going to return, oh, we need to give that a name as well. There we go. Make sure I'm doing this correctly. Const, and we'll say forms or form types. Yeah, let's go with that for now. And we'll return that here. Right, well, oh, need a comma there. That's why that's squawking. And the label for this first one can be equal to, I think, just blog, or just blog post, something like that. So that's the label, and that's going to take us to, how about /form/blog post, blog post. Yeah, let's put blog dash post, be a little bit more descriptive. And there we go, it's saying content type, and then we're going to spit out all of our form types. So let's come through here, and we've got blog post. I might just add one more. Quasar extension feature. So if you're someone who creates Quasar extensions, you can talk about new feature releases. Feature, and we'll put in here extension feature. And there we go. And now let's spit them all out here. Q-item, Q-item-section. And these items are going to be links. So let's say 2 is equal to, we'll say v-4. We'll call this form type, in form types, and it'll be form type dot link. And we need a key in here as well. Is equal to form type dot label, because I know the label is going to be unique. Now I'm not getting any of my lint in, so let's go to eslint.rc, and I'm going to change that to view3 recommended. Save that, and now when I save it, yes, it's going to do a whole bunch of awesome formatting for me. So that's good. All right, we got our Q item section in here, and now we want to spit out the label. So let's say form type dot label and see how that comes out. Okay, here we go, they're being spat out. But the next thing is we want to make sure that they're clickable. Am I putting 2 on the wrong section? Maybe I just need to refresh it. Oh yeah, that's working. I shouldn't have to put clickable if it's got a link there with 2. Oh, looks like I do. All right, let's bring it back again. And with the latest version of Quasar, I found that I do actually have to refresh the page a lot, but that's okay. I'm sure that's something that they'll fix soon. So make that a column. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. How do I color this? Is there like a way to do it? It's probably a Quasar way of doing this. So let's have a look. Oh, by the way, check out the new API Explorer section. I can say Q list. It shows up there, and I can straight away see the API for the Q list. Style. Yeah, maybe we should border it. That'll probably help a little bit. Bordered, and probably the Q item as well. Let's have a look at that. Q item. And the styles for that. So you're probably just supposed to do it with CSS classes. But you know what? I think this is a good start. I want to keep it really clean and really simple, so you come in here and you know exactly what to do. Maybe even instead of content type, we can say choose a content type. Yep. Blog post should take you to the blog post page. Currently it doesn't, so I'm doing something wrong here. Looks like the 2 is not working. So let's see. Behavior 2. And that's on Q item. Form type dot link. So maybe, oh no, it's not meant to be link. It's form type dot 2. I bet you saw that. You with your keen eyes. All right, let's try this. And that's working. That one's working as well. Now, I don't like having this hash at the top here, so let's go to quasar.conf, and we'll change it from history mode. From hash mode to history mode. And now let's get rid of this. I might have to wait a while for this to refresh, because when you change that, it has to refresh the whole server. I always get this. My linter doesn't like the formatting of the error page by default. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, there we go. Our links look a little bit nicer now that we're in history mode. And what else? So next I probably want to set up Laravel Sanctum properly. So let's come in here. And now we're jumping into Laravel land, to API land. And what that's going to do is publish our config file. So if we now jump into config, not config, sanctum.php, we've got the Laravel sanctum config, and I think I can leave that as is. Oh, we want to make sure one of the stateful domains is this domain here. Actually, we might use the 127.0.0.1 version of that. So let's change this to 80 like that. And that should make that work. The next thing we need to do is migrate the database. So I'm just going to use SQLite to keep things simple. We might swap it out later on. Let's try this. SQLite, meaning I can actually get rid of all of this other stuff. One of the great things about SQLite, it's very easy to set up. If we get a database, we can create a new file called database.sqlite. And now I think I can actually just migrate it now. Migrate. And there we go. It worked. We got these users tables as well, and I might use that in the future just to give myself like a user account, or some people on the team a user account, because people on the team might get priority for some of this stuff. So I'm going to leave that, leave those user tables in there. And yeah, we're actually not going to use a lot of the features of Sanctum. We're just going to use it so we can send forms and get CSRF tokens when we're using an SPA. Because usually with Laravel, well, not usually, I guess it is usually, often when you use Laravel, it's not in an SPA. You're using PHP itself to serve up your pages, and so it can handle all of the CSRF tokens. But Sanctum basically allows us to say, hey, give me a CSRF token. You get that CSRF token, it's stored as a cookie, and then requests after that are going to be secured. So if you didn't understand any of that, that's totally fine. What next? Next, we need to do a little bit more setup. So in the API section of our HTTP kernel, we want to add, make sure that our routes are stateful. So let's say kernel, and the API section, here it is here, and whack that in there. That's that part done. We don't have to worry about migration customization. Let's jump straight to the SPA version section here. Yep, this is all stuff that I've read before, so I'm pretty familiar with it. Coming down. Yes, we have. Oh, ensure front-end requests are stateful. Am I using the wrong middleware there? Nope. It's interesting that actually in this case, he's importing it, but in the other version, he wasn't importing it. It was just being shown straight in. So I don't know if they wanted to do that in the docs. It's just a weird inconsistency there. Totally doesn't matter. CORS, I think by default, they allow basically everything in terms of CORS. So let's jump into cors.php in our cross-origin requests config file. All right, so it's going to allow anything to API slash the little asterisk sign there. So we want to make sure that our form is in API slash and then whatever our form is. All right, so let's come back here and let's install Axios. In fact, I think we already have Axios. Yes, we do. Ooh, okay, the way Axios is installed is different using this version of Quasar. In fact, I don't think we need to install it at all. I might just import it. Yeah, I don't feel like it needs to be sitting on my Vue instance. By installing it, it basically just allows us to do stuff like this. We can say like Vue, or if you're inside a component, this $$ Axios and send requests. But this is going to be a really small app. I don't think we need that functionality. So in fact, I might just go ahead and delete this file. Actually, I'm changing my mind. The reason I'm changing my mind is if I do it this way, I might be able to set some global settings up so that, because you need to set up CORS global settings, and that means I won't have to set it up all over the place. I don't know, let's see how this pans out. I think it's under axios.defaults. Something to do with credentials. With credentials is equal to true. And so by default, with credentials will be set to true, and that allows us to send CORS requests, which is kind of cool. So now let's jump back in here. And now I'm just going to have a look at like a little button where I can just test these requests. So let's go to api.php, and I'm going to have a test route that I can play around with. We can comment that out for now. Route and post request or get request? Post request, since that's what we're going to be doing. And let's just make this a test route. Function and return success with some exclamation marks so I can tell it's my own. And so this will be, in order to hit that endpoint, we'll have to say API/test because we're in the API routes, and it automatically adds the API prefix. All right, so let's give this a try. We need to add the button in there, index. Let's add it under here, q-button. And let's label that as test request and @click send test request. Let's just go with that. We want to make sure everything's set up before moving along. And now, cool, I get to use the composition API. This is exciting. Const send test request is equal to, we're going to import Axios. So let's come up here, import Axios from Axios. And now we can say this is a function that returns Axios.$post to /API/ we might even need the full URL here. So let's say artserve to serve our Laravel server. And I'm going to copy that. We're going to send it to there, /API/ I believe we call that test. So let's double check. Yep, test. So what doesn't it like? Send test request. This needs to be actually returned so that we can use it. And when you click on it, it's going to say send test request, which will call this function, send the Axios request to our server. And as we can see, that lines up with our server here that we just started running. It's going to go to API/test. So if we go to api.php, the idea is it's going to hit this test route and we'll receive success if everything works out, which it really does the first time. Post is not a function. Oh, okay. I'll put the $sign in there. There we go. Let's try it again. Oh, by the way, we also need to make sure we get the cookie. So when you're doing Laravel Sanctum requests, you need to make sure that you first send a request to the Sanctum CSRF cookie, right? And that's basically going to give us that cookie I was talking about before. So how about in the setup, we actually do it right here. We can just do that request straight off the bat. We might do something with that response. Yeah, maybe we'll like have a load bar finish loading or something to say that we're ready. So I'll leave that for now. Refresh the page and let's see what errors we hit. Okay, that route was not found. Maybe we need to register that route. Oh, by the way, I need to install Sanctum. I don't think I ever said composer install. Did I ever do that? I required the package, so I shouldn't have to do that. So what am I missing here? Let's serve it again. It's saying that it hasn't found the route. So we're trying to do a GET request to that route. Is there something we need to do to set up that route? Maybe the problem is I was going to say maybe the problem is that it's not a cookie route. Well, if any of you guys have ideas of what I might have done wrong here, let me know. I'm just going to scroll up and see if I can find something weird. With credentials, let's make sure that that's actually sending through the credentials. So if we go to our headers here, Yeah, it looks like it is. So that's not going to be the problem. Could be a CORS problem. No Sanctum/CSRF cookies is enabled, so that shouldn't be the problem. Let's go to web.php. I think that's where this route is supposed to be. Search for the word route. Maybe I was supposed to register something. No, that's not the case. Let's come back in here and come down and see if I can figure it out. Alright. Stateful. Let's double check this again. Make sure that I'm using the correct middleware. In kernel. Is it the same middleware? Yes, it is. So we're using that. Okay, that's not a problem because we don't have any subdomains. Yeah, it's weird that it's not showing that. Let's see if the route actually shows up now. If I come here and I say art route list. Yeah, so we do actually have that route. Sanctum/CSRF -cookie. Oh, you know what? I figured out the problem. It's because I haven't added the beginning of the URL to here. I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, so notice here I'm using the server's URL. In here I'm just saying /. So that's going to send me to the quasar URL, which means it won't work. So I need to paste that in there. And I think that might fix our problem. Refresh the page. All right. What's the problem now? Okay, it looks like we've got a different issue, which is good. Let's refresh the page and not press the button. Looks like it might be a CSRF issue. So we're trying to go to... Oh, I need to make sure that I'm actually on 127.0.0.1. Otherwise, it's considered to be a different origin. I'm pretty sure that's related to that issue. All right, now let's copy that and make sure that it's being allowed. If we go to sanctum.php, that's the one that I allowed, isn't it? Yep, okay, so that shouldn't be the problem. Let's check that we don't have Sanctum stateful domains, because that'll mess with our result. Nope. Wait, hang on. Did it work that time when I refreshed it? No. It did not. So are we getting any more insight from Laravel here? No, oh, maybe it's because my server's not running. Oh my goodness. All right, cool. We got a new error now. Must not be the wildcard. Okay, let's just make sure that... Oh, it might be because I haven't actually got the credentials set properly there. Let's grab this line of code and throw it in here. Refresh the page. No, I checked it before actually, and the credentials looked okay. I'm going to leave that there though, just in case. Is this the right endpoint that I'm trying to hit? Yes, it is. let's go to CORS, and it's allowing all of the methods and API slash, and then the endpoint. But then also the Sanctum CSRF token, so that should be working as far as I can tell. So there's a problem with which side here? The value in the response. Huh. What am I missing here? Oh, this is kind of what I wanted to do, to just get used to live streaming and the feeling of just completely messing things up. I feel like a lot of the other videos I do are really clean, so it's, it's kind of nice to show that sometimes, in fact, a lot of the time, I have no idea what the issue is. All right, let's come back and give that another crack. So then the other thing is like just understanding how to debug this. So if we come in here, am I getting the right headers there? Yeah. Oh, thank you. How do I say your name? Housam El Jamal. Sorry if I butchered that. That's very kind of you to say that. It's nice. Yeah, I feel like people are gonna love my videos much more than my live streams. Especially, this is something that I haven't even practiced, so you get to see me totally just, oh my goodness, supports credentials is set to false. Oh, I'm such a ninny. Oh gosh. Okay, let's come back here, refresh the page. It's working. Oh my gosh. Does it say that in the docs? Supports credentials. I bet you it does, and I missed it. Oh, it does here, doesn't it? Oh, that's embarrassing because I just didn't read the docs properly. Okay, cool. We can press on now. So, um, for those of you that have just joined, we're creating an app where I'm going to be able to create forms. So you can click on blog post, for example, and it will open up the blog post form. And then somebody can enter in an idea for an awesome blog post that they know about or something they created themselves. Quasar related. This is all Quasar related stuff. And then I'm going to try and use the Trello API to then, well, successfully use the Trello API to send the result of that over to my Trello board, and then I can sort of triage that. And it's just going to be a way for me to streamline receiving ideas from people so that we can then let the community know and just get like more of the news out there and keep the community more active. I think that would be really awesome. So this is kind of like a proof of concept, and then we'll elaborate more on this maybe tomorrow. We'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow. Okay, so now let's see if we can actually just send a form. I'm going to create a dummy form. Now we actually get to do some fun stuff. Art make model, and I'm going to say help here. And let's just see what's available when you make a model. We've got OR, so that'll create a migration seeder, factory, resource controller. Can I say OR and add the API flag? Let's find out. Make model, OR, and then API, and I'm going to call this is for a post, a blog post. So how about we call this blog form or post form? No, blog. I think blog is more specific for what we actually want to create here. Okay, nice. We've got that. We've got a model, factory, migration. I want to go through these one at a time. So maybe I'm just going to create like a dummy file here so I can store all of those files that I want to check. Let's see if I can do this quickly. Yep, cool. That's perfect. So let's split the screen now. And let's start with the model. So we've got the blog form model. Actually, no, it makes more sense to start with migration. So let's jump in here and see what fields we need to add in. We're going to have, what is the post link? So that will be the link, or maybe we'll call that URL. URL, link, maybe link, because it's possible it won't actually be a URL. I think if you take someone to an app, it's not necessarily called a URL, unless I'm totally getting that wrong. So let's say link, author, and then comments. Let's go with that. So table, let's use a string for the link. And then we've got author, also a string, and then comments. I'm going to be able to show you guys some really cool stuff now because all of these Laravel related files give you an idea of like a lot of the great power that we get with Laravel. Let's make this a text area. Do you call it that, or is it just text? I think it's just text. Comments won't be necessary, so let's make that nullable. So they don't have to put it in. You'll definitely need a link, and I think you'll definitely need an author. We need to know who actually wrote the post. And they can just write anonymous if it's anonymous. So I think that is correct. We can now migrate that, and that's going to store it in the database. And what else? So let's go to the model itself now and set that up with a link, author, and comments. So model.php, blogform.php, and we want to set a fillable, protected fillable, which basically says when you're sending this as a form, or if we want to mass assign variables to this model, that's going to be allowed. And by mass assign, I mean if I want to say, for example, blog create, and then send through like all of these different values, it's going to work if they've all been allowed through fillable. And the idea of this is just to protect people from accidentally doing something like this: request, input, and then sending through all of the input, and maybe there's a field in there that we don't want the user to be able to fill. So that's kind of why we've got this fillable option here. Man, it's much harder to teach things on the fly. I usually stop and like re-explain it about 7 different times until I'm like, okay, I'm happy with that. We can move on with the video. And then you guys get to see the cut version that makes me look much better than I actually am. All right, so that's the model. Let's do the factory. This is going to be fun. So blog form factory. And now we can say all of those fields again. And we can create some dummy data, or a way to create dummy data here. So what's the best way to do this? I just want to get my formatting to begin with. So the link will say this. Can I say link or URL or... Oh no, I think I have to say faker. Yeah, we want to pull out faker first. Faker is a library that allows us to generate fake information. URL, there we go. So let's create a fake URL, a fake person name. Yep, there we go. And this can just be a random sentence. Here it is here. And I think that'll work, which means I can say art tinker. This allows us to just jump into our Laravel app and play around with things. And I can say blog form. That should give me none because we haven't got any yet. Yep. So now let's say factory. And I can actually say now create 5 of them. 5, create. And then it's going to run all of these definitions here to automatically generate that data for us, which is really nice. Such a beautiful API. And now if I say blog form all, it's going to grab all of those. It's just generated data for us so we can easily play around with it in the future. And I also like to make seeders as well, just to be complete and make it super easy to create data if I want to. And to run this seeder, we're pretty much just going to run that command I just ran then. So can I do this? Yeah, let's just copy that. God, I could have typed it out by now. And has that been imported? No, it has not. So let's import that blog form. There we go. Cool. And now we want to be able to actually run that seeder when we run the default seeder. So how about we do this? App models, blog form. Oh, actually, we want to grab the seeder. So let's say new blog form seeder. And that's going to create the seeder for us. And then I think we can just call run on that. Yeah. So now this is really cool because I can super easily recreate all of that data by saying art migrate refresh. So that's going to refresh our database. Watch this. It'll roll everything back and then create all of our tables again. But then I can add the seed flag. So now that has migrated the database and then run this command here, everything in database seeder, meaning not only has it migrated the database, it's already given us some dummy data we can play around with. Yep, there it all is there. So I reckon that's pretty cool. And the last thing I think I'll do before I call it a night is make it so that we can actually add some data to the database easily. So how about we go to api.php and scroll down here. We tested that test route. Oh, did we actually test that in the end? Maybe we didn't. Looks like it's working though. Oh man, my headphones are hurting my ears. So let's have a look and see if it's working. Yep, it is. So we could easily just make this a post route that, oh no, let's use the controller here. So we've got a blog controller, blog form controller, index store, show, update, destroy. Oh, cool. So that API flag did actually work. And the only one we're interested in right now is just to test if we can store this. So let's say blog form create, and we can literally just grab the request input. So this is the request. We pull the input out of the request and create a blog form. And we can actually just return that directly, and Laravel's automatically going to turn that into a beautiful JSON object for us as the response. So yeah, let's just go ahead and see if that works. Oh, I'm going to have to actually register that controller. And I think we can say, we can actually do resource controllers here. So check this out. I can get rid of that now. Route, and I believe you just say resource. Yeah, here we go. So the name of this resource is a blog-post. No, that's not what it is. It's a blog-form. So blog forms is going to be the name of the API endpoint. And then we want the controller as well, which is called a blog form controller. Blog form controller. Let's pass that through. I feel like I'm missing something here. Yeah, so this is a resource route. Is there a way I can call it API resource? Yep, there we go. We don't need that route anymore. Let's come back to, we can close all this down. Have we done all this? Yes, so let's go back to index.view. Open things up a little bit. And the last thing I want to do is actually send through that request. So how about we say create form request. Really, we're still testing here, so I could have just left it as test. And paste that there. Paste that there. All right, so we get our create form request now. And it's sending it to API/post/forms as the endpoint. And we need to actually give it some data there. So let's give it a form as the data. And I'm just going to whack that in here. Const form is equal to an object. And what were the fields we had? Link, author, comments. There we go. And so we can do this. I don't even need to do that. We can just say what those things are. The link will be, I don't know, my-site.com. The author will be Luke Diebold. That's me. And then the comments will be, this was a decent blog, but Luke waffles sometimes. All right, let's see if that actually works now. Let's run a test request. All right, we've run into an error, which is nice. Errors are fun because we get to deal with them. API/post forms. Apparently that doesn't exist. API.php. Oh, it's not blog. It's blog forms, not post forms. So let's change that from post to blog. All right, let's see if this works now. Refresh the page. Hit that route. And there we go. Looks like it's working. And you know what? Just to finish things off, let's just quickly check if we can make a form. So how about this? Rather than saying form and then adding all of those fields there, we'll make them all nothing by default like this. Okay. And this is going to equal a reference to that. And I'm going to have to import ref. Oh, we've already got it. And now I can just come over here and make that available. So now let's come up and actually create the form. So how about we say q dash import, and this first import is going to model the form dot link. So let's say label is equal to link. And there we go. Link, author, and what was the other one? Comments. So link, author, comments. Man, this stuff is so ridiculously easy with Quasar. I love it. And then the type of this one can be text area. Let's see how that comes out. Yeah, I think that's right. Let's refresh the page because that text area wasn't quite right. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to add some margin tops here to these ones. Q dash margin top is medium, just to pull them apart a little bit. How does that look? That's much better. And I also like to make my forms filled like this. It's just a style that I like a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. And why don't we just whack the whole thing in a card? Even though we're just playing around for now. I just can't help it. I want to make things look nice. And let's add that in a q-card-section so we get a bit of padding in there. All right, cool. I think that looks pretty good. And class equals q-margin top large. And there we go. So obviously this would be sitting on like another page or pop up as a dialog when you click on blog post. And instead of saying test request, we can actually go ahead and whack that in here. Yep, and let's make it fill in the whole bottom. And I'm going to set the color equal to primary. In fact, since I'm doing more designer-y type stuff, let's do this. Oop. Yeah, there we go. And I can hide that and I can hide that. And how about this? We make this a full width as well. Full width. And maybe a little bit of a margin at the top. Q-margin top small. Oh, I've got to refresh the page. Yeah, hot module reloading still doesn't seem to be working for me, but I'll get that sorted out later on. Nice. Okay, I think that's a pretty sexy form. And let's just see if it works. I'll add a little bit more logic. So how about we have... how about this? I know it's starting to get a little bit messy here. Loading is equal to a reference to false. So by default, loading will be false. And maybe we should be more descriptive here. Submitting is false. And I'm going to return it there. And then we'll have a function here that's called handle submitted. Or maybe handle submit success. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, let's make that a function that's going to receive the response. And then this dot $Q, and let's say notify here. I think it might be a capital N with the new quasar. I don't remember seeing that in the upgrade guide, so maybe not. Message saying success. Thanks for the idea. Or thanks. I'll let the world know. I don't know. Thanks for sending me the update. Oh, and let's change that to sweet. Thanks for sending me the update. And let's change the can I change the color here? I think I can say like class is equal to background dash green, or maybe you say color is equal to green. I think that might be how you actually do it. Handle submit. Let's make sure that's also exposed. And now what we can do is say create form request is called here. And then we'll say dot then handle submit success. So in fact, we don't even need to expose this. And then what I'll do is I have a spinner here. So we can even say loading is equal to submitting. Let's see if all that worked. I probably should have been testing as I went, but I didn't. So the link is https my-blog.com. Luke Diebold. It is awesome. Oh, I didn't actually install the Notify plugin, but let's see if that actually went through. Oh, I can't see the request there. And we did get an error on the server, but that's good to know. Yeah, so I'm going to have to send that through again. I want to see that error. Show me the error. So it looks like the data isn't going through properly. Let's have a look at that input. I'm doing something weird there. So let's have a look at when we set it. We've got the form here. Oh, you got to say form.value. Or you API pros. All of you composition API pros probably caught that one. Let's say site at .com. Luke Diebold. My comments. Let's see if that one goes through. Wow, that actually worked. Awesome. So the rest is going to be pretty simple for him here. So tomorrow we can do like the more fun stuff. And now we want that notification to work. So let's go into quasar.conf and plugins. And I happen to know that there's one called, I believe it's called Notify. Let's just save that and see if it restarts. Yeah, it does. $Q of undefined. Okay, that's right, because we're using the composition API. I actually don't know how to use plugins when you're using the composition API, because we don't have this. So how about I come to the docs here, notify. Let's go full screen here. And let's find out how to use this. So we import it like this. And then we have to say use quasar. $Q is equal to use quasar. Oh, okay. All right, that's not so bad. So we import that like that. And then we can simply say $Q is equal to use quasar. Oh, this is actually really, really nice. We can get rid of this now. $Q notify. I'll prove you have to say const $Q. Of course. And I think that's it. If so, I really like the way of using it that way. Nice. There we go. So I think we'll leave it at that. So ultimately, we want to be able to click on this. We'll get a dialog like you can see here. And then you'll be able to fill all the information in, press send, and then that's going to use the Trello API on the back end. And using the Trello API, I'm basically going to send myself a card with this information so that I can then take this request and decide whether it'll be on my podcast, whether I'll do a YouTube video on it, whether I plan on doing a Quasar live show soon. Well, I want to at least try doing that and see how it sits with people, if they like it, where I show like Quasar tips and maybe build some like quick apps live. Something a bit cleaner than what I did here today. And so, I could share it on that and, just through the different distribution channels and on Twitter. So people can come over here, show cool stuff, and I've got a way to share that cool stuff with the world using my platform. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it for you. And those of you that want to use Sanctum with Quasar, hopefully you learn how to do that as well. Unfortunately, I did meander a little bit at one point, but I think this ended up being,